To give a situation, everybody likes or was raised or somewhere is scared from something that they read somewhere. And to use this format of using great writers, short stories, or even tales, whatever we're going to say. It's not like Tales from the Crypt, though. It's a different kind of thing. But taking a nice short story and expanding it with very, very good writers and very, very good directors that are known for the genre, and doing it with casts, usually one or two stunt casting, so that there's something really exciting, because most actors have always wanted to do something in this realm. I mean, look at the outfit I'm wearing. I mean, look at the hair. Hair alone, in case people don't really recognize me, I'm bald. But for the sake of this, you'll never even see me take this wonderful top hat off. It's sort of like doing chimes at midnight or something, some frightening thing that you get to do. So it's given a great opportunity to a lot of people just for the enjoyment and the fun of watching good old-fashioned Saturday night horror. I don't know what night they're going to air it. I would recommend Saturday. And if this is for the DVD, I would recommend that you watch it every Saturday for the rest of your lives. Because horror belongs in our life.
Madam, I am in desperate need of your help.
I cannot help the likes of a prosperous young gentleman like you.
But I was told you could raise the dead.
Well, he was told wrongly.
First of all, I was called by John McNaughton, the director of this wonderful... Excuse me, gas. I was called by John McNaughton that he was doing this project, and John and I have quite a history. He had directed me in some very nice episodes of the television show Homicide, which I was a regular on for the first season. And then he directed me in something called Girls in Prison with Anne Heche, and also in Push Nevada, which was a rather popular television show for ABC, and told me about this script and said it was a horror script like the old-fashioned ones. Now, I was raised on horror films. My brother was an animator and loved monster movies, was a real fan of Lon Chaney. I remember seeing the full-length silent Phantom of the Opera when I was about 8 years old in a movie theater. They showed them. I'm from Philadelphia, and they would have showings of these things. So I was quite a fan of horror anyway. And at my period of time when I was growing up in early television, not that early, I'm not that old, but let's say in the 50s, late 50s and early 60s, there was late night Saturday night horror movies on. So I got to see all of the old ones, all the Boris Karloff stuff, everything that was done at that period of time from Universal Studios, as well as at the time I was going to the movies, the matinee movies, and the Hammer Films had brought out a whole series of new versions of the old classics. The Hammer Films were quite sexual, not like the old ones. There was a lot of overt sexuality, a lot of bosoms being exposed, not bare-breasted as we have in this. But it was quite enticing, horror and sex. Excuse me again. The horror and sex element is something that appeals to every man and every boy within every man and woman. My character, Montesquino, was a necromancer in the mid-1800s. I bring things and people back from the dead.
My knowledge came after many years of intense instruction, with great risk to my life and limb.
I'm willing to take risks.
Are you indeed?
I have to display my gifts to the public. There's not much of a crowd in front of my displaying on this particular day when Haekles comes to see me, but there's a good dozen or so people. And I have to bring something back from the dead to demonstrate it. So I bring back a dog, a very hacked up, destroyed dog that I bring back from the dead and then shoot in the head and kill him again. So I guess my skills only last, for as long a time as it takes to get a little people interested in buying my wares.
Vobiscum, botanicum, terra firma romanticum, magicus, validus, animus, equus, funera.
Haekles is a doubting Thomas. Because I charge money, he thinks it's just all magic. false, and he doesn't believe in me. He's more into the theories of the Frankenstein that is allegedly around at the same time, and the rumors that the Frankensteins brought back the dead, reanimated the dead. So Haeckel is a doubting Thomas, and he'll pay for that doubt.
Well, how much do you think a year of my life is worth?
We wouldn't know, sir.
I should say it's worth more than $100.
Derek Cecil was the lead of Push Nevada, the show we did, and I'd never met anyone like him or acted with anyone like him. I think he's one of the finest actors around. It reminds me in some ways of a young Anthony Perkins, but different than that. He's got a lot of wonderful, haunting qualities about him, a bit of sadness and a bit of joy and evil. That's my kind of actor. He's a blast to work with. He's like if I played tennis and he played tennis and we played tennis, it would be just the same as what we're doing on the set.
You do believe your own eyes, don't you, young man? To resurrect a simple beast is not nearly so taxing as bringing back a human being, a man with a soul. Compared to that, this is merely a parlor trick. Man is far more complex.
Well, we were talking about favorite scenes. Now, Mick Garris, if you hear that banging, it's the zombies trying to get in because fighting to get screen time with these dead. Well, Mick Garris, in my scene that I have to do to introduce my powers and the way I bring back the dead is by doing something that I know was Latin-like, but wasn't really Latin, because I took Latin, even though I don't remember much of it. I certainly knew that there was parts of Latin in there, so I would call it Pig Latin, and I would call it his kind of Pig Latin.
See the Montesquieu first speech in the Pig Latin, and you'll know what I mean.
Give us a touch of it.
Specta calaculicum muna nanayakaya.
I studied my Latin for that.
I have worked with Toby Hooper, who I think, don't know whether he did one. He did one of these for the series, and Toby Hooper directed me in something called The Apartment Complex. I was a fan of Toby Hooper's. Look, these guys, not one of these guys is a slouch. They all are known for certain genre films. They're also known for other things, but I think what they did, what Showtime did, and what the producers here did, was to get people that in some way were associated with the darkness or the horror. John McNaughton, of course, is not really a horror director. He did Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer, one of the most disturbing things to ever come out of Chicago, other than John McNaughton, which is the most disturbing thing to ever come out of Chicago. And he did Wild Things, and he's not really known for horror, but for being disturbed. And that's what Masters of Horror, the series, is about. You have to do disturbed scripts, directed by disturbed men, written by disturbed writers. I've met the writer of this one, who's one of the executive producer. He is very disturbed. I think disturbed is the operative word here.
Yes.
Well, John Landis is a frightening person and a frightening director. But no, we have had a history. John Landis directed or produced Dream On, and I was a recurring role on Dream On. And he's been quite a fan and a wonderful figure, and a strange figure in the business. As I said, everyone's a little touched that's touching this show.
He's about to touch it like now. Wham! Ah! Sorry.
Brian Benben is actually working with John Landis. Now, John Landis produced Dream On, and it starred Brian Benben. Brian Benben and I have quite a history. My very first television show was called Gangster Chronicles, and Brian Benben was playing Meyer Lansky, and was a terrific actor then. Of course, what's happened to him since, mentally and physically has been very disturbing. Did I say disturbing enough? Because, Brian Benben is a fine actor, but the horror that has happened to his, mind and his talents certainly will come at play here. I think that Masters of Horror has brought all of us, from wherever the hell we were buried, back into the limelight again.
And action!
What is the line between life and death? Between darkness and light? Between existence and infinity? I am here to tell you that the dead can live again.
Be afraid. Be very afraid.